Hey guys, and welcome to my channel and to this video. This is a second one in a series of Misty Falls, and today I will be using this Centenaire watercolor paper. It is 300 GSM or 140 pounds, 23 by 31 centimeters or 9 by 12 and 1/8 of an inch. It is also cold press watercolor paper and 100% cotton. I will start with my sketch and just do the horizon line. It is on 1/3, lower third of my paper. Also do a couple of mountains and couple of boats. And for the paints, I will be using only sky blue, ultramarine, black, and a little bit of yellow, something similar to yellow ochre or raw sienna. Sketch will be available for download from my website, so there is a link down in the description box. You can follow the link and download the sketch for yourself, trace it, and join in this painting. As I mentioned earlier, this is the second tutorial in this fall series tutorial, so I will put the link in the description box. So if you want to check out maybe the other videos in this series, you will find it there. After finishing with my sketch, I brevetted the entire paper, and then with a mix of a little bit of sky blue, ultramarine, and just a touch of black, I started to paint the sky, and as you can see, with very light wash, just picked up the paint with the tip of my brush, and I'm spreading it all over the sky and also slightly downwards into the sea. Also, I'm adding a couple of clouds there, but since my paint is quite wet, it just bleeds one into each other. And for the sea, I'm just painting the right side darker and the left side I will be painting lighter. So now I have picked up that yellow and just on the left side added a little bit of yellow in my mix of blues and black, just to have a slight glow on that side, while the right side is going to be quite dark. While the paint and paper are still slightly wet, I'm starting to paint my mountains first in a lighter wash, and then later on I will just be adding layers, making those mountains a lot darker. I do want the one again on the left side to stay lighter and the on the right side to be darker. So that is how I'm also adding some color to the right mountain a little bit more and to the left mountain a little bit less. Lower mountains, those are actually some bushes or maybe trees, are going to also be a little bit darker. Again, left side I'm leaving lighter. Adding a little bit more of that mix of blues and black, but this time just a little bit more of the black in the mixture. On the left side, a little bit more of the yellows. And I'm just doing horizontal strokes, and as I'm doing them, they're just leaving the impression of the sea and slight movement of the sea with those light waves. After adding this layer, my paint is starting to dry slightly, but the paper is still wet. I'm adding a little bit more of the paint. The darkest part of the mountain is going to be on top, and the lightest, where that mist is and the fog, will be a lighter. A little bit more details to the sea. And now I will just leave it to dry completely, and after it dried completely, I picked up a very dark paint, dark mixture of, again, same blue, sky blue, ultramarine, and black, and started with on the top of my mountain. I am working quite fast, and if you can't work fast, if you are a slow painter or just a beginner and that looks quite scary to you, you might get those ugly lines while the paint is drying. You can brevet the part where your mountains are and just paint it like that, you would need to add a little bit more layers in that case, because the paper will be wet, your paints are going to be wet, so it will naturally dry lighter. You will dilute it with water, but that is also the way that it might be easier for you, and you won't have the problem with getting those ugly lines and drying the paper and drying the paint on the places that you don't want them to dry, and you don't want them to have harsher lines, because in the lower part we don't want the harsher lines. That is the place where the fog is and the mist, and we want that soft transition into that fog. Little bit more of the details to the bushes, and you can see all the time I'm painting the right side darker and the left side lighter. Again, a little bit more of the paint, but this time the sea is completely dry, so there are also some dry brushing strokes and some dry brushing textures on my seas. I'm just picking up a very little water in my brush and just spreading that paint to soften it up. Now moving on, after it dried, of course, completely, moving on to painting the boats. And I'm painting them with the same mixture, but on the left side I will be adding a little bit of the yellow just to make that part slightly lighter. And that is how I will be painting all my boats. When finished with that first layer, I'm just adding a little bit more of the darker pigment on the right side to make it look as though that part is slightly in the shadow. And also adding a little bit more of the reflection in the water. I will later on also work on that reflection, but for now I'm just adding a lighter one. Then painting the land, and also that little house on the land, on the dock. And now again, a little bit more of the pigment on the right side of my boats, and those boats that are a little bit more on the right side, so they are also darker. Now I'm just using ink pen, because I do believe this is going to be a lot easier to do very nice straight lines, but if you want to use your brush and black watercolor, that would also be fine. It was just easier for me like this, use a ruler and an ink pen, and this is a micron ink pen. I believe it is a 01. Also, I've added a couple of those lines on the dock where some of the boats are sleeping, and just again a little bit more details, lower part, making it look like there are some boats. When done with that ink, I just added those, I'm not sure how they're called, those parts of the boat where the sail is, and also worked a little bit more on the shadows. And those shadows, again, are quite light. I don't want to make them dark, especially those on the left side. You can see they are lighter, and those again on the right side a little bit darker. Shadow for that little house on the dock. And with that, I'll be finishing off this painting and this video. I hope you guys like it, this idea of misty fall, and like my this is actually also monochrome painting, and I hope you like them. And I'm not sure if the next one is going to be monochrome, but definitely it's going to be misty. So stay tuned, and if you do like this video, please hit the like button, share it and comment, and that would mean a lot to my channel and also to this video, just to get to the wider audience. And if you haven't still, please do subscribe to my channel. That I would really appreciate that. And guys, again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye.